that meet citizens' fundamental needs. From INEC, public confidence in elections is eroded. Nigeria's political parties have become elite-dominated structures rather than people-driven organizations. They are often serve as vehicles for personal ambition rather than platforms for governance and ideology. The collapse of internal party democracy began when executive interference replaced collective leadership within parties. Technology offers a pathway to transparency, but its benefit depends on integrity and public trust in the institutions that are deploying it. Civil society organizations must intensify grassroots engagement to ensure INEC and political parties remain accountable to citizens. Participants also noted a decline in voter turnout and urged reforms to re-energize public participation through civic education, transparency, credible electoral processes. And during the second panel session, we also noted that Nigeria's democratic culture remains weak due to over-centralization of power, patronage politics, and disregard for the rule of law. Local governance remains neglected, with state governors dominating the political landscape while local government autonomy remains theoretical. Imbalance of power and weak engagement from youth and civic institutions like NANS and MBA have reduced the quality of public discourse and oversight. The use of technology and artificial intelligence was highlighted as a critical innovation for modernizing electoral processes and ensuring accountability. True democracy must be measured by citizens' well-being, freedom, and inclusion, not just periodic elections. And then the key recommendations are as followed. At the close of deliberation, participants agreed on the following actionable recommendations: to enforce internal democracy within parties and build citizens' own structures that promote ideology over individual ambition; to ensure genuine autonomy and capacity for local governments to deliver services and engage citizens; institutionalize voter and civic education in schools and communities to build a culture of participation; guarantee the independence and adequate funding of INEC, the judiciary, and other oversight institutions; demand integrity, transparency, and responsiveness from elected officials through citizen monitoring and open data; use digital tools, artificial intelligence, and e-governance systems to improve transparency, service delivery, and electoral management; strengthen collaboration between government and civil society to safeguard freedom of expression, association, and participation; mainstream women, youth, and persons with disabilities in governance and policy making; promote ethical leadership and constitutionalism as pillars of Nigeria's democratic culture. And in conclusion, the conference concluded that Nigeria's democracy must evolve beyond elections to effective governance, anchored on inclusion, accountability, and citizens' empowerment. As one participant aptly stated, vote who needs to be in power, no matter their political party. And another said, we must make democracy make sense. PACA reaffirms its commitment to working with stakeholders, government, citizens, civil society, and development partners to build institutions that outlast elections, deliver the dividends of democracy to all Nigerians. Thank you very, very much. And I also have the privilege of taking the vote of thanks. And I want to appreciate you all for your time here. And distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is both an honor and a privilege to deliver the vote of thanks in closing this remarkable national conference organized by PACA on the future of democracy in Nigeria beyond the polls. Over the past session, we have engaged in thoughtful and often passionate discussions, deliberated on how democracy can grow stronger, more elusive, more inclusive, more accountable, not just during elections, but in everyday governance that follows. On behalf of the organizers, I extend our profound gratitude to our keynote speakers, panelists, and moderators who shared their deep insights, bold ideas, and practical recommendations. Your contributions have enriched our understanding and inspired renewed commitment to democratic consolidation in Nigeria. To our distinguished guests, civil society actors, policymakers, media practitioners, youth leaders, and representatives of development partners, thank you for your active participation, your questions, your perspective, and your energy. Democracy thrives on dialogue, and you have made the dialogue meaningful today. We especially appreciate the tireless efforts of the Packer team, volunteers and partners, and as well as you all seated here. Without you, this program wouldn't have been a success. And so we especially appreciate your efforts, and the tireless planning and coordination made this conference not only possible, but impactful. Your dedication behind the scene has ensured that every session ran smoothly and every voice was heard. To our sponsors and institutional supporters, we express our deepest thanks for believing in this vision, for investing in the conversation about Nigeria's democratic journey beyond the electoral moment. Your support affirms that democracy is needed and is indeed a shared responsibility. And finally, to every participant here today, whether in person, thank you for showing up, for listening, and for committing to carrying forward the ideas shared in this conference. The future of democracy in Nigeria will depend not only on the votes we cast, but on the values we uphold, the institutions we strengthen, and the citizens we empower. As we close this conference, let us live with the renewed faith that democracy is not an event, but a continuous process, one that demands vigilance.